Welcome back everyone. Now we'll be beginning with session 3 of the course Retail Marketing Strategy of week 3. So as far as last session is concerned, I hope you remember we had connected the dots regarding the generic factors which determines a retailer's success. So precisely we had discussed regarding the factor of why, which was all about a retailer understanding why they exist, or what is it that they are trying to do for the customers, which problems are they solving for them, or how they are bringing in value for them. And we had also looked at the examples of DMart, which was all about making sure that for every rupee consumers get some value or get more of value. Then we also looked at Nature's Basket as well as Future Group, and eventually we also looked at the element of showing care, and we touched upon the perspectives of wow stories regarding the Ritz Carlton chain of hotels, which are precisely known for offering the best experiences to their guests, or we can say customers. Now, as we move further in this module, we'll be again getting back to the key factors for success in retailing. Along with that, we'll also be having an overview of consumer decision making processes. So, when we'll get to that, we'll be precisely looking at three facets in which consumers are required to make decisions. Now, as I just told you, we had discussed Know Your Why. We had also had a look on Care and Show. We also discussed in brief about standing by your products, which where we precisely looked at the snapshot of Procter and Gamble and Oral B electronic toothbrush. But as we begin this session, we'll be having a look at strategic approach to selling. Now, as far as strategic selling approach is concerned, we first need to understand what a strategic sale is. Now, it is all about recognizing that complexity in selling is on rise. We need to satisfy a customer not on just one parameter but a lot of parameters, and that's why when it comes to attracting customers in store, it gets a lot more complex. So considering retailing, in view of the strategic selling approach, we need to understand that no transaction is small. Even when a customer is buying a product worth rupees 10 as compared to a customer who could be buying products for 1000 in a grocery store, both should be given equal importance, because you never know, the customer who is presently buying for rupees 10 could be very profitable in the course of time, or as far as the life of a retail store goes. Another thing which, as per strategic selling approach, we need to consider is the long term perspective, which means that a retailer should not only be worried about a day's deal, which means you should not focus only on the fact that if a customer has come to the store, we just need to somehow sell. That will not work if you want to be among the best retailers. Rather, the focus should be on long term perspective and focusing on very long term association with the customers. This also means that you should not only somehow work towards selling the products to the customers, but rather see if they are going to be useful and fruitful for them. If in case you start working towards customers in helping them out in what is going to be the best for you, which also indicates that you are adopting a consulting approach, you will be able to see that this is indeed going to be magical for both the customer as well as the retailer, and they'll be walking hand in hand for a very longer period of time. The third facet which we need to consider is focus on customer lifetime value. We have spoken about CLV a couple of times. Now it simply indicates the total income that a typical customer can bring in on the table for a retailer. Now this can be again understood in two perspectives, and earlier also I have spoken about it. Let's say you have a customer who is buying a lot of products from you at this particular moment of time, but if you calculate his CLV, you might see that he is not very profitable as far as future is concerned. Likewise, you might have a segment of customers who are not profitable now, but if you calculate their CLV, you might be surprised to see that they come across as very profitable as far as long term duration is concerned. Now this is what CLV can do to you, and you can eventually figure out the right kind of strategies as far as profitable, non profitable customers in long term are concerned. Now the fourth facet which you need to understand with respect to the strategic selling approaches, you must focus on creating a win-win situation for your customers, and this definitely becomes very crucial as far as B2B selling is concerned, because more precisely in B2B selling, stakes are very high. Now there can be four situations when we look at this particular perspective. There could be a situation of first win-lose. Now win-lose means you are winning but the customer is losing. Now in this case, in a way, you are focusing towards having that day's deal and you are not focusing on long-term orientation. Now in this case, what is going to happen is customer undoubtedly will buy from you now because he is not aware that he is losing, right? Otherwise he would not even buy now. But in future he'll be always in a mood to take revenge, and will also create a lot of bad word of mouth, which eventually is going to be bad for you or very impactful for you in all negative ways as it is possible. Another situation could be lose win, in which you are losing but the customer is winning. Now let's look at it from two perspectives. Now this is fine if the CLV of the customer is high, which means in long term he'll be bringing in profits for you. But if it's that not the case, then the entire exercise is definitely going to be futile. See, I have discussed about this earlier also. No retailer would like to operate at losses, whether it is short term or long term. But for certain segment of customers for whom you could be required to incur a lot of expenses or cost as of now, but if your analysis shows that they are going to be profitable in long term, then this is completely worthwhile. But definitely you look at the perspective of long term profitability. Now the third situation could be lose lose, and I think it is self explanatory. If both the customers and the retailers are losing, then there is no point of running such a business, right? And the last situation is win-win, in which the focus is on creating a win-win situation for both customers as well as retailers. Now this is something which is again going to be the best for the retailers as well as customers. Now again, concerning the strategic selling approach, we also need to focus on the ideal customer profile, which is more of a semi-fictional representation of your best buyers. Best buyers as in who are going to be profitable for you in long term, of course, as well as they'll also be bringing in a very positive word of mouth, and in some time they might even become your brand advocates, which means they'll not only be promoting your products and services or your store, but they will also start defending it in a group of people. Now see, why this becomes important is, let's consider the example of DMart and Nature's Basket. Their ideal customer profile is going to be very different, whereas for DMart it is only going to be a set of customers who want the best value for the every rupee, whereas for Nature's Basket it is going to be the set of customers who are looking for elite products and services, exported and exotic, let's say fruits, as far as Nature's Basket is concerned, and they'll be willing to pay a higher price for that also. Now the differentiation per se as far as ideal customer profile is concerned can also be realized for retailers. Let's consider CCD and barista. For CCD, the clientele is definitely going to be different as compared to barista. For CCD, it is more youth driven, the people who are precisely coming to the store to have a good time. Whereas for barista, you precisely see the people who are working in offices and could be coming for having meetings or things like that. So even if you look at their ambience, you'll be able to connect the dots with respect to what we just discussed. Now the last thing which we need to consider as a part of strategic selling approach is definitely ideal ways. Now this simply indicates how you can create value for customers. Now the one perspective is going to be about solving their problems or others by helping them grow. Now it is only in these two ways that you can be among the best preferences for the customers, either as retailers or in terms of the products and services that customers usually buy. Either help them solve their problems or help them grow. And again, you will be able to see that you will be among the consideration set or preferential list of the customers. Now we get to the another exciting element amongst the factors which actually determine a retailer's success. And again, that is definitely technology at the center. Only those retailers are going to be successful in times to come or even in present times who know how to utilize the technology for best of the benefits, even with respect to working on building a robust supply chain or also with respect to serving customers in the best possible ways. Now, as far as this facet is concerned, we'll be looking at the point of sale systems, e-commerce platforms, mobile technology, intelligent systems, and contactless payments. All these paradigms simply indicates where technology can be implemented as far as the operations and functioning of a retailer is concerned. The first thing which we are going to look at is point of sale systems. We all know that traditional cash registers have eventually been replaced now by point of sale systems. The advantage of point of sale systems is precisely the fact that they allow you to scan the barcodes and record the sales of the products in just a few seconds, but they also help you track inventory and even provide real-time sales data. Now let's understand how this can be beneficial for a retailer. If you look at the idea of providing real-time sales data, Just imagine that the retailer has come up with a phenomenal sales promotion tactic, maybe buy one get one or some discount offers, or maybe it could also be in the form of some bundled products. But it will be only through point of sales data that you will be able to see whether consumers are buying these products or not across the retail outlets that you have in India. Maybe one could be, let's say, based in Calcutta, other could be in Pune, other one in Mumbai, other one in Delhi, or let's say one in Kochi. Even you will also be able to clearly see in which particular location this particular sales promotion is doing best, or where people are just grabbing products with respect to this promotional offer. So this is how the point of sales data can be very beneficial for you. Apart from that, we all know that these systems often include barcode scanners, touchscreen interfaces, and these work best when they are integrated with other business systems. Now, as far as technology is concerned, another facet is about e-commerce and online shopping. We all know how the barriers have been completely eliminated. We all know how the barriers with respect to time and space have been completely eliminated with the advent of online shopping. You can buy products at any time you want, in any day, or from any place, which means you don't need to go to the physical retailer now to get the product. Another benefit which comes from the facets of e-commerce and online shopping is again your global outreach. Even if you are sitting in a small town in India, you can even reach out to the customers based in New York if you think that they are going to be a best target audience. Though this is again one of the key benefits which the online shopping brings in. Apart from that, it also allows you to offer personalized product recommendations, virtual shopping assistants, and secure payment gateways to the customers to enhance and improve their satisfaction considering the overall online shopping process. Along with this, it is also the mobile technology which is kind of paving a great way for customers as far as retailing and shopping and purchase behaviors are concerned. See, one biggest advantage of mobile shopping apps is first is they are handy. People can buy products anytime, anywhere they want, right? And mobile definitely brings in an added convenience even as compared to the desktops websites which people usually log into to buy products. Another advantage is very high personalized recommendation. See, when you give consent to the retailer or let's say any marketer to access your data, then through mobile the data which can be captured is of very high precision. If you are using Swiggy or Zomato, you'll be able to see that many times they send you very personalized push messages or notifications. Let's say if in last week you have purchased South Indian stuff, maybe dosa, idli or anything, or ordered quite a number of times through the app, then you will see maybe in following days when you are not ordering, you might see very personalized messages like, would you like to have a dosa, or since last week you haven't had a dosa, or something. So this is where the benefit of mobile applications lies. They, again, I'm repeating it, they allow you to get very personalized with the customers, and we all know that along with these facets, these also enable personalized offers, mobile payments, and location based promotions as well, which again can be utilized for taking the shopping experience of the customers to the next level. Now, another benefit which precisely comes is through the data analytics and customer insights. Now, retailers are able to collect vast amounts of information even with respect of point of sale systems or through the online transactions that a customer might be having through mobile apps or the websites or any other point of sale. And if it is omni-channel environment in which everything is integrated, then the data can definitely be utilized to draw very rich insights with respect to what are the preferences for customers with respect to sharing information. Even with respect to mode of payments, you might see certain set of customers are only using Paytm, other could be only using Phone Pay, whereas some segment could only be using credit card. Now just imagine for those customers who are only using credit cards, if you want to push sales or stimulate them to buy certain products which could be simply lying in carts, you can specifically provide them some offers related to discounts only focused on credit card mechanics. Along with this, such data definitely helps you in digging out rich insights with respect to trends and can be utilized to make data driven decisions as well as propose tailored made sales promotions for certain set of customers, right? Along with this, we are also seeing a world of contactless payments. You very well know that we have reached a stage where payments can even be made with respect to, by scanning faces and also by using just taps, whether these are credit cards, and also with respect to the smartwatches which are available in the market. And this definitely also bring in an enhanced level of convenience for the shoppers. Now, as we move further, we'll be talking about some more facets where technology can be utilized for the best as far as retailing experiences for the shoppers are concerned. Now, these can be AI and chatbots, AR and VR, inventory management and supply chain, and finally robotics and automation. Now, when we talk about AI and chatbots, we all know that AI powered chatbots are being utilized by the retailers quite often now, because these are precisely used for providing instant customer support, answering queries, and assisting them with product recommendations. AI chatbots are nothing but virtual characters which are precisely created to help customers or answer their queries. Now, these are precisely being used for taking orders, cancelling orders, providing information regarding products, registering complaints, checking for the status of complaints, checking for the status of orders, and even for recommending products as well. And when coupled with AI algorithms, these also help retailers in optimizing pricing strategies, predicting demand, and optimizing and managing, as well as improving inventory based mechanisms. Now, as far as India is concerned, even players like IRCTC are using AI based chatbots to cater to the needs of customers. If you look on the snapshot which is being presented on the slide, you will be able to see the AI chatbot which is called as Ask Disha. Now, if you look at it, she's asking, how may I help you today? Now, you can log into your queries regarding the status of trains from one station to another, and you can also look for another information which can be related to inquiring about failed bookings, popular tourism packages, filing TDR for cancelling ticket, checking for the PNR status, checking for the details of my passengers, changing boarding sessions, and all these things. Now, one benefit of using definitely chatbots is that you allow customers to kind of get answers to their queries on their own or maybe as per their comfort, and it also helps you to minimize the load which otherwise was earlier on the human service staff which was tackling all these issues or complaints. Now, another exciting facet which can be looked at from the perspective of offering best of experiences to customers is about augmented reality and virtual reality. Now, AR and VR technologies are being used on a very fast pace by the retailers to offer a very heightened evaluation experience to the shoppers. See, earlier, even if you look at online channels, you were not able to actually diagnose how the product looks, or let's say, even if it's a piece of furniture, how it is going to look in your room, or even in terms of, let's say, if it is about clothing, in terms of the texture and exact color of the clothes. So it is precisely on the basis of AR and virtual reality that the retailers are able to offer very immersive experiences to the shoppers, and these technologies definitely take customer engagement to the next level because they also have an element of hedonism or a sense of enjoyment which was earlier missing. Now, one example of this AR VR mechanism which is being used by the retailers to offer fantastic sales experience is of Lenskart. So if you log into their website, you can see a tab which is all about 3D try on. So when you log into this, you can take a picture of yours by using the camera, and you can see which eyeglass will look better on you as far as your face cut is concerned. So you can imagine how this is taking the element of diagnosticity or evaluating how the product is going to be fit for you to the next level. Now, another best example which can be definitely considered in this case is of IKEA. IKEA has launched an app which is called as IKEA Place, and this allows people to virtually place furniture in their home. Now, considering this fascinating feature or an app, we'll be first looking at this video and then we'll be moving forward. And this has been derived from the official YouTube channel of IKEA, which you can also visit to look at their other exciting products as well as to decode how they are building around the retail experiences for their shoppers.
Hey, IKEA would like everyone to know about Place, our new augmented reality app. Built on Apple's new AR kit, you can easily place true to scale 3D models of IKEA furniture in your place. Scan, browse, select, move, and place. So that could mean less of this. And less of this. And probably more of this. We want to make it easier for people everywhere to imagine a better place. Share this place. And this place. Try place in your place.
Now, the another exciting facet which can be aligned with technology and a retailer performance is definitely inventory management and supply chain. Now, these both are key important factors. While supply chain helps to make sure that the products are made available at the right time or delivered at the best possible time to the customers, inventory management helps in avoiding the opportunity cost of going through the no stock or no availability options. So, considering technology and in view of inventory management and supply chain, it helps in improving through the automated systems and helps track stock levels and monitor product movements and eventually helps in streamlining reordering systems. Retailers can also optimize their supply chain using technologies like RFID, which is radio frequency identification for inventory tracking, and automated order fulfillment systems. As I just said, these two are very important facets to make sure products are delivered to the customers at right time as well as at right price as well as in the right places as well. Now, to enhance your understanding on the facet of robotics and automation, I have retrieved this video from the official YouTube channel of CNBC, which basically highlights how robotics and automation are being utilized in the retailing industry. Now, when you look at this video, you'll be able to see how robots are taking the images of shelves and which are being uploaded to the cloud, and then these are precisely being utilized for checking if the prices have been misquoted or wrongly written by mistake, to check what's in stock, and also to see what's in wrong position or if certain products have been placed wrongly. Many times you will see when even customers come to the retail store, they'll pick up something from one place and keep it on another place. Now just imagine if it is a very large store and you have a lot of customers or the footfall is very high, how much time of the human resources will go in arranging these. So in best of the retailing systems, this is being automated. So now please have a look at this video, and if you have any of your views to share, please get back to the forum and we'll be happy to read your views on this.
Outfitted with cameras and sensors, this autonomous robot is verifying price signs and looking for out-of-stock items.
These cameras on the side are capturing images of the shelves that are then uploaded to our cloud environment to determine what products are out of stock, what's mispriced, what's in the wrong position.
Inventory is one of the biggest challenges retailers face. Missed sales from empty shelves and out-of-stock items cost U.S. retailers $82 billion in 2021, or about $1.6 billion a week.
So this would tell us that the Snickers is low, and we probably need to get more Snickers dropped from our back stock and brought out to the floor.
Almost half of retailers said out-of-stock items were their biggest challenge in fulfilling customers' orders.
Retailers are spending a lot of money to know what's coming into their stores through their inventory systems. They know quite a bit about what they're selling and that are leaving their stores. But in their stores on a daily basis, they don't have a very good model of what's actually happening on their shelves.
But an army of inventory robots is being deployed that would help retailers appease angry customers, boost sales, and respond to the ongoing worker shortage. Almost 900,000 retail jobs were unfilled at the end of November 2022. The retail industry employs more than 30 million Americans.
Retailers are competing in a very tight labor market still, and they're often having trouble filling jobs that are more physically intensive, like packing a box or refilling a shelf. So instead, they're using robots in some cases or automation to fill those types of tasks and having people do skills that use their brain, that use some of the skills that a robot would have a harder time replicating.
These robots are really going to help brick and mortar to evolve and capture sort of the new market where you can order online, pick up in store.
The inventory robot market is a $34 million industry. Other companies in this space include Simbi Robotics and Bossa Nova Robotics. So what impact will inventory robots have on U.S. retailers and the livelihood of its workers? Keeping shelves fully stocked has been a full-time job for retailers in recent years. Fewer truck drivers, higher fuel prices, supplier issues, severe weather, and changing consumer preferences have caused a shortage in everything from toilet paper and eggs to baby formula.
The baby formula shortage is getting worse.
Grocery store shortages are back again.
Tonight, empty shelves lining more stores nationwide. Some retailers complaining product shortages are becoming as bad as they were at the start of the pandemic.
An out-of-stock item is when a shopper leaves a store without purchasing what they intended to buy. the product could be in a warehouse, in a different aisle, or on the shelf, but blocked by a sign or display.
The biggest challenge that supermarkets have today is out of stocks. Being able to, really handle how to get inventory on the shelves. That's their number one challenge today.
While some issues are driven by supply, demand is also an issue. The rise in pet ownership in the US, for example, led to shortages for products like food for dogs and cats. About 23 million American households adopted a pet during the pandemic. And the problem isn't necessarily a new one. A key component of retail operations is having the correct amount of inventory on hand and making it available to shoppers. On average, for every dollar US retailers make, they have $1.35 worth of inventory in stock.
In the old days, 20, 30 years ago, the way of reconciling our data with our reality was to do physical counts. We would send people down the aisles and they would physically count. We'd have 6 of this item, 2 of this item. They'd be punching it into a handheld device and it would be flagging anything that was mismatched. This could take weeks.
Not having a product available for purchase, while frustrating for a customer, is potentially disastrous for a retailer. Out of stocks cost retailers not just the loss of the initial sale, but in some cases the loss of a secondary sale and potentially the loss of customer loyalty. Confronted with an empty shelf, 20% of consumers said they postponed their purchase, 10% went elsewhere, and 16% shopped online. Excess inventory, in some cases, is an even bigger problem. Surplus inventory is when a retailer has too many products on hand, like a glut of winter coats in the spring or an oversupply of patio furniture in the fall. In many cases, those products need to be heavily discounted.
If we've invested all of our money in purchasing a product that doesn't actually sell, we typically see retailers having to sell it off below purchase cost. So they've lost money on it, but more importantly, they've lost opportunities. Often, if it's truly surplus, it has to be either thrown away or salvaged.
To help manage their inventories, a growing number of retailers, like Sam's Club and BJ's Wholesale, are turning to robotics and automation to beef up their operations. Inspecting store aisles has historically been the job of retail workers who check inventory, verify price tag compliance, and maintain the ideal state of the store. When done by a human, the job is laborious, costly, and not always entirely accurate. Based in San Diego, California, Brain Corp got its start in 2009 as a research project for Qualcomm. Before moving into inventory scanning, it first developed self-driving technology for floor cleaners.
We looked at an application where there was a really high labor component and a very repetitive, sort of the typical robotics, dirty, dangerous, dull task. And that led us into the cleaning industry.
With just 50 machines deployed in 2017, the company raised $114 million in funding led by the SoftBank Vision Fund. Today, it has over 26,000 robots in schools, airports, and hospitals.
We started looking in that retail space and trying to find what are the other problems that our robots may be able to solve.
In 2022, Walmart-owned Sam's Club expanded its relationship with Brain Corp, adding inventory robots to its 600 stores. The dual-purpose machines, manufactured by Tenet, use technology by Brain Corp to move autonomously through the store, cleaning floors and acquiring data along the way. Robots like this one have as many as 5 cameras used to scan store shelves, as well as 3D cameras to assist with navigation. Customers purchase the physical machine from a third-party manufacturer and pay a monthly fee for the software. The software subscription for a cleaning robot is in the hundreds of dollars per month. The inventory scanning is a little more.
We've got 4 cameras on the side that would be facing the shelf as it's navigating down the aisle to scan it. And we've got another camera on the far side to be able to look upward at what we call reserve steel, sections of the retail stores that have their products on the uppermost shelves.
All that information is uploaded to the cloud. And it's in the cloud where we really have the intelligence layers. So that's where we have models that are trained on making sense of the images, understanding that that's Snickers and this is a jelly bean, for example, but also the price sign information.
For retailers that are adding inventory robots, one of the advantages is they also are collecting a lot more data about what customers do and don't want. By monitoring inventory, they're not just making sure the shelves are full, they're also getting demand signals on what's selling and what's not. And that's one of the things that retailers often struggle with.
A stock keeping unit is an alphanumeric code a retailer assigns to a product to distinguish it from one another. A Walmart superstore, for example, can have more than 100,000 SKUs, compared with a supermarket that has about 30,000 SKUs. Inventory robots benefit retailers in other ways too, like freeing workers to perform other tasks and potentially lowering labor costs. More than a third of U.S. retailers say staff shortages are their biggest challenge.
Now, before the scrubber, all of this was manual. It required associates to go out, scan it into the location, count how much is there, tag in where it is, etc. So what this scrubber is allowing us to do is take all this mundane, really routine work off of our associates.
For example, if a grocery chain with 425 stores had an employee at each location making $15 an hour who counted inventory for 2 hours each day, removing that one task could save the business more than $4.6 million annually.
This is where the robots can help out being able to do this consistently on a daily basis, right? They don't call out sick, they don't get tired, they're ready to run on a daily basis.
The median salary for a retail sales worker is $29,000 a year. More than 50 million U.S. workers quit their job in 2022.
I worked in a small grocery store, so if you were assigned the baking aisle, you were walking down, physically counting how many little bags of chocolate chips were in that bin, how many of each kind of Jell-O. It was extremely time-consuming. It was very frustrating.
The precision at which you capture the data is just much higher than a person can do.
Based in San Francisco, Simbi Robotics got its start in 2014. The following year, it launched its autonomous inventory robot, Tally. With more than a dozen cameras, Tally scans between 15 to 30,000 products per hour, taking roughly 2 hours to scan a supermarket. BJ's Wholesale added Tally across its 237 locations in 2023. On top of inventory robots, warehouse robots are on the rise as well. Amazon launched its first fully autonomous robot, Proteus, over a decade ago. Today, the e-commerce giant has more than 500,000 warehouse robots worldwide. The warehouse robotics market was valued at $9.8 billion in 2021 and is expected to reach $23 billion by 2027. A similar expansion of inventory moving robots could be coming to brick-and-mortar retailers.
I would envision the move category thinking about moving products within commercial spaces is on a horizon, I believe, within the next 5 to 10 years.
Because those associates walk all day long picking orders for our members. Well, if we could find a more efficient way to actually bring the inventory to them or bring the order to them, and then they can just, get it ready for the member, we'll be faster, we'll be quicker, we might even be more accurate.
BrainCorp rolled out its autonomous delivery tug in 2020 to move inventory from the warehouse to the store shelf. However, the company found the robot in its current form was too large for many retail environments and said further development was needed.
It's not mature and it's still emerging within the public space for Move. So we've done some prototypes and some testing and piloting with Tug product or with Move products within those spaces. I'll say that we're ready to move into that space and capture that market with partners as it sort of emerges.
Everything is the biggest challenge in robotics because everything about it is hard. From the hardware to the motor control to working with the sensors to making everything reliable.
Despite those headwinds, robots could soon be a common sight at grocery stores and big box chains nationwide.
The ability to now have a robot simply roll down that aisle and collect that information on an hourly basis or even just a nightly basis is an enormous benefit to retailers who really do need that information.
What robots can bring to the table is just consistency. They will run every day. They will run up and down all the aisles. They don't miss things by accident.
In general, retailers are trying to become more sophisticated about tasks that they use people for and instead turn to robots that often can do these jobs more efficiently at a lower cost. And that may mean people are doing different jobs, or that may mean that there are not roles for as many people.
We just had a discussion about how technology can be best utilized by the retailers to offer best experiences to the shoppers. Now we'll be looking at the best systems and processes that a retailer needs to have. So there is definitely going to be an overlapping with respect to how technology can be utilized, and as far as the same aspect in context of right systems and processes. Like the first one is indeed about point of sale systems, we have already discussed. Then the next is about inventory management systems, which a retailer needs to have in place to make sure that the cost can be minimized and right products can be delivered to the customers at right prices and at right time. Then we'll be focusing on customer relationship management systems, where the whole idea is going to be about working towards building strong relationship with the customer. See, if you have three retailers who are offering identical products at same prices, then only that customer is going to win the battle, who will be focusing on relationship management. And finally, as far as right systems and processes are concerned, retailers might also be required to have their own e-commerce platform, let's say maybe their own website or their mobile app, to reach out to the customers or a larger audience who could only be comfortable purchasing online. Then they also need to have right systems as far as supply chain management is concerned. They also need to have systems and tabs for analyzing and reporting tools, which means, let's say if you have retrieved a lot of data from your point of sale systems, you also need to utilize for digging in rich insights as far as the understanding of consumer behaviors, considering their preferences, changing trends is concerned. So this is only going to be possible when you have intact analytics and reporting tools in place. In other ways, you can also say this is more like having a retailing intelligence system, where you can actually monitor and track how the environment is changing, how the consumer preferences are changing, or even with respect to the minutest of details, like let's say their payment preferences and all other facets. You also need to have an employee management system in place, which is all going to be about tracking, let's say, schedules of employees, their salaries, if any bonuses that they need to be paid, their attendance on regular basis, and other important parameters which could be required for managing employees at a retail store or a retail establishment. Now, another facet is again aligned with security and loss prevention systems. In this, we need to understand the facet of shoplifting. Shoplifting means the people who come to store but they lift, or maybe you can say steal your products. This is technically called as shrinkage, and you will be surprised to know at one point of time India was ranked amongst the top nations as far as shoplifting behavior of the customers was concerned. Then finally, you also need to have systems in place for omni-channel integration, in which the idea is all about offering a seamless shopping experience to the customers by integrating all the touch points that you have, be it online channels, offline channels, or some others. And finally, you also need to have a very robust and best system for customer service and feedback mechanisms. The whole idea is to utilize the feedback for improving the services as far as customer interactions and experiences in stores are concerned. So all this has been presented in detail in slides. You can go through this, and if you have any questions, you can definitely come back to us. So please go through the content which has been provided in slides. In case you have any doubts, please feel free to get back to us. And this slides precisely presents the modern retailing environment snapshot, which is all about, we'll all see the emergence of new retail formats. You might see bookstores or coffee shops or a combination of both. We have also seen some videos on stores which don't have any cashiers, right? So this is one of the facets of new retailing formats. Another is we'll be seeing the massive growth of online retailers. We all know how Amazon is making it difficult for the small retailers to survive, or how JioMart or SmartPoint are making it difficult for local grocery stores to survive. So there is definitely going to be a big war, whereas on the losing ends we can precisely see small stores who might not be able to adapt with respect to the technology and also with respect to offering those services or price benefits to the customers. We'll also be seeing the growth of intertype competition. If you remember, we had discussed in brief about the facet of competing on the basis of time, which means eventually where will be the consumer spending his time. And if you recollect, I had shared the example of entertainment industry. If you have 2 hours, either you can go to a theme park, or you can go for a movie experience or to a movie theater as we usually do, or you might even sit at your home in your comfort and might watch anything on OTT platform. And that too, you have so many options. You might use Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney Hotstar, Z5. So just imagine on what multiple levels the retail service providers are competing. And likewise, we'll also see the decline of middle market retailers and emergence of e-tailing. And the best example is Lenskart, who has eventually removed a lot of middlemen with respect to providing classes to the customers. And finally, the technology is going to be at the center. And in the same module, we had discussed a lot about this. Now, in the end, we get to the most important element, which is about understanding consumer decision making processes. Now, as far as a retailer is concerned, this can be understood in three paradigms. One is choosing a product or service, other one is choosing the retailer, and the third one is choosing the channel. Now, I'll give you a brief about how this works. See, today the market is flooded with a lot of options. If you want to buy a pair of shoes, you have so many brands. So, one fight is definitely going to be about understanding which product and service or offering consumers prefer and why. You might have a segment of consumers who might prefer Woodland shoes as compared to the Nike shoes, and they will have their own set of criteria. So this is again one thing which will be understanding how consumers buy with respect to the offerings which are available in the market, and even understanding the role of psychological field with respect to the choices that consumers make. Now the second thing is going to be about choosing the retailer. Let's say if you want to buy a pack of chips and there are 10 grocery retailers in the vicinity where you are living, or maybe let's say you want to go for grocery shopping in general, there could be 5-6 retailers in the same place. Now which retailer you are going to pick up is again going to be an important facet. Everybody is offering the same products, maybe at similar price points. Then who amongst these is going to win the battle is again going to be an important discussion point. And finally, which channels consumer choose. I might decide to go for an online channel with respect to buying an air conditioner. Likewise, as compared to a certain segment of people, you will see they'll be only comfortable buying at an offline store. Now, this is again an important thing which we'll be discussing, why certain consumers prefer online channels and why some people prefer offline channel. This is definitely going to be different for different product categories, and also with respect to the understanding of search and experience products, which again becomes a very important discussion as far as the online and offline retailers are concerned. So considering the today's session, I hope you really enjoyed learning about how technology lies at the fulcrum of any retail establishment and how it can be utilized best to offer fantastic consumer experiences. Apart from that, I also hope you gained at least brief perspectives about understanding consumer decision making processes as far as retail dynamics is concerned. And I'm also assuming that you got some very insightful perspectives on the video which was based on robotics and automation. So looking forward to meeting you in the next session. Good luck for now.